What's going on, people, and welcome to my match recap and player ratings from yesterday's game. Leeds 2, Manchester United 4. I predicted a 2-0 win for Manchester United. We did get the 3 points, but we made it difficult for ourselves again. I think the first half we were comfortable, pretty comfortable. I think Leeds started well, first 5-10 minutes, but then I feel like the first half we were very comfortable. Obviously 4 goals is brilliant, but we shouldn't have to score 4 to win that game. And how it panned out, it's just a mess again. I think De Gea, very good again. There was a few players. Pogba I thought was very good. I thought Sancho was above average again. I think he showed more consistency. And, I mean, Fred gets a goal. I mean, it was crazy. It was a crazy game. Dan James, we kept quiet pretty much for most of the game, I felt. It didn't really make an impact as he has in the last few games for them, which was a good sign. And we've got one on over our historical rivals, which is important, especially at their place. Still bitching and moaning from Bruno, which I hate. And I still think he was average, even though he scored. And I feel like Ronaldo went missing again. I think Maguire and Lindelof were decent. Overall, I'm happy with the 3 points, obviously, but I feel like, as I said, we shouldn't have to score 4 goals to win that game. And we did make a mess of it in the second half, going from 2-0 to 2-2. And even though we win 4-2 in the end, it's worrying. And how quick they got their goals. It was like both goals within a minute of each other, if that, probably less than that. So it was worrying how it panned out when they got their goals. I think Shaw was at fault for the equaliser from Rafinha. And the first goal, a freak cross from De Gea, which people are going to be giving him stick for. I give him above average yesterday because my point is yes, he's off his line and he could be maybe further back on his line or not as far off it as he was. But Rodrigo does not mean to score. He's trying to cross the ball. So if his cross actually goes where he was trying to put it, De Gea is there to clear it, punch it or catch it. So I don't think De Gea can do anything else than he did because it was a freak goal. He doesn't mean to shoot. It's a cross and he mishits it. But if that cross is going where he's trying to put it, De Gea deals with it. So I think it's harsh that people are saying De Gea is at fault because, yes, he could be a little bit further back, but if he crosses that ball in like he was supposed to, De Gea clears it and no one says nothing. So I think it's harsh on De Gea. And I don't blame him for that goal yesterday. I think it would happen to any keeper. It's a freak goal. And I think people were getting it wrong about that yesterday. So, going into the player ratings, De Gea, I'd give him a 7. I thought he made countless good saves again. That goal, as I said, I don't think he's at fault. Maybe he could slightly be back, but he would deal with that if that cross goes where it's supposed to have gone. So, for me, I think he was good again, De Gea. I'd give him a 7. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, average. I don't know why he got a chance and brought back into the team because I think Deleu's been brilliant or at least decent. So I think he was average. I don't think it was terrible, but I don't think he did anything more than Deleu would have done. I think Deleu would have done more, as he's been showing. So that was a strange one for me. I think they put him in because he had to deal with Dan James on that side, but I think Deleu would have done just as good a job, really. So average for Aaron Wan-Bissaka with a 5. Lindelof, I thought he was very good last night. Some people's man of the match. I'm not mad at that. I actually had him and Maguire as the same rating. Maguire obviously scores a header, which he never does, really. He does it for England, but never for United. And I think he did well for the header. And Lindelof brought the ball out again and went on 2 good runs up the pitch. So I could see why people would give Lindelof more of a higher rating, but I personally had him at the same rating of above average with a 6 for Lindelof and Maguire. I thought they were both pretty solid throughout the game and had a pretty decent game. So they both get a 6. Luke Shaw, I'd give him an average. You could maybe argue it's just below average. I do think he's at fault for the second goal. He doesn't mark the Rafinha tight enough and just lets the ball go across for a tap-in. And Maguire is in front of Shaw at that point, but I think it's more on Shaw than Maguire, to be honest. And I think going forward, he was quiet again. I just don't think we're getting the Shaw that we had a while back, so average for sure. McTominay, I give him a 3. I thought he was quiet, didn't affect the game, doesn't influence the game, and he was lucky not to get a red card in my opinion. He should have had 2 yellows. He was reckless, handbags again with players, and him and Rafinha at one point, and I've said it before in previous about McTominay and Bruno. They're moaning and bitching, and McTominay does it and gets yellow cards so often. I think he's on like 8 now. It's ridiculous, and it's literally every game he's getting booked, and he's just not good enough for me. So for me, a 3. He was quiet, and he's lucky not to get sent off, and it's not benefiting the team, I don't think, with him in there. McTominay, 3. Pogba, I thought he was very good, and I thought it was harsh for him to be subbed. I'd give him a 7. I thought he influenced the game. He dominated the midfield. He was strong, and I think he was good, and I don't think he should have been took off. So Pogba, 7. Whether or not he's playing that way because he wants to leave is a different thing, but I don't care as long as we're getting good performances from him, and I think he was good again yesterday. I wouldn't have took him off personally. So Pogba, 7. Lingard, I was pleased to see him get his chance yesterday and get a start, but I do think he was below average. I thought he was very quiet, struggled to get on the ball, struggled to influence things, and it's not the same Lingard we were seeing on loan at West Ham, and this is the problem. I'm a fan of Jesse, but I don't think he's showing it when he's given his chances enough, and I know he doesn't get a whole ton of chances given to him at United, but when he does, like yesterday, he needs to be doing more of it, and I think he let me down yesterday. It was sad to see, but a 4 for Lingard. Bruno, average. I had him below average for a lot of the game. Then he gets his goal, so I bumped it up slightly for that. But he was bitching and moaning constantly again, going down softly at times. And I don't think he was that involved in the game, to be honest. The Maguire goal comes from a Luke Shaw corner. Sancho's goal for Bruno gets the assist. He set up the Elanga one. He did get the assist for Elanga's goal, and he did well in that moment. But I think apart from that, I think he was quiet. And it's not the same Bruno we've been seeing like when he first came in. He set high standards for himself, and maybe that's part of the problem. But I think he has been average or below par a lot this year. I'd give him an average for yesterday. Gets his goal, and he does get an assist. But I think his overall performance was a bit meh. Sancho, I'd give him a 6. I think his consistency is showing now. Gets the assist for the Bruno header. And a few times in the attacking third, I thought he was looking dangerous and could cause issues for them. And he just needs to keep him in the team. He needs to keep getting these run of games he's been getting. And I think he'll just get better and better. So Sancho, for me, I'd give him a 6. Ronaldo didn't get a ton of service, but there was a point where he got put through on goal and he was offside. But if he hadn't have been offside, he goes through and there's no defender near him. It's just him and the keeper. And the keeper saved it. And I think you expect him to be scoring them goals. It was quite a tight angle, but he had enough of the goal to aim at, and we've seen him score types of goals like that before. And I think he was poor again yesterday. I really did. So Ronaldo gets a 3 for me, and he got subbed off near the end for Varane, more a defensive change, and he didn't actually look like he was moaning or angry to be coming off. So I think that speaks volumes as well, because he probably knows yesterday he wasn't good enough. And I thought he was poor yesterday. So I've got him tied for worst of the game. Him and McTominay I've both got at 3. The subs, Elanga, Fred and Varane. Fred come on, surprised me, got his goal. Credit where credit is due. It was a tight angle. Sancho got the assist for that. I think the keeper should have done better on a few of the goals for us, to be honest. I think the Bruno header, I know it skids off the surface and it was horrendous conditions, but I think he needs to react quicker to save that Bruno header. And I think he should save the Fred one, to be honest, as well. But I think the pace of it beats him, but I think he should be doing better. But it's a great finish from Fred at a tight angle. Straight off the bench as well, was pretty much his first involvement, and positive, gets his goal, credit where credit is due. I'd give him a 6. Elanga, I'd give him an average. He gets his goal, but I think he was pretty quiet when he came on, other than the goal. Obviously, he got hit in the head with a coin or a lighter or something from the Leeds fans, but then he scores it and he goes and celebrates in the same part of the pitch, which I love. But then you've also got to beware that it might happen again, because you're tempting fate again. You might get hit again with something. And then at the end of the game, he's literally standing in that corner looking at their crowd and baiting them, basically pointing at his badge, which I loved. But at the same time, you got to be aware that you might get hit again or something might happen to you again. But I love that sort of middle fingers up to the opposition for giving you stick and getting your goal and then shoving it in their face kind of thing, because rightly so. So I'd give him an average. I'm glad he got his goal. And Varane, I'd give him an average as well. I think he came on, didn't have a lot to do, to be honest, and I think he was solid. Nothing spectacular, but an average. And Ranić, I'd give him a little bit above average with a 7. I don't agree with his lineups he picks all the time, but we did get a result. And it's a historical fixture, as I said. There's a lot riding on this one. And it's important that we get a win in these games. And it was away from home. And it got to 2-2, and we still come out of it and won with an extra 2 goals after letting 2 in, and they could have gone on and won it as well. So for that reason, I think he deserves some credit for yesterday, because it was a tough game and we did get a result, and they put a lot of pressure on us. So for me, Ranić, I'd give him a 7. And man of the match, for me, it could either be De Gea, Pogba, maybe Sancho, or maybe even Lindelof, but I thought De Gea and Pogba were arguably top 2 for me. I'm going to give it to Pogba. I thought he shouldn't have been subbed. I thought he was dominating the midfield, and I don't understand why he was subbed, to be honest. I know Fred comes on for him and gets the goal, but I think we still could go on and win that game if Pogba stays on, even without Fred's goal. So I wouldn't have took him off, and I thought he was very good, Pogba. So he would get my man of the match. Great 3 points, as I said, against a team that are fighting for their points at the moment a lot lower down in that table. They're in the relegation battle a bit, and they're missing players, so they're even hungrier. And it could have gone worse yesterday when they got to 2-2. They could have turned it around and got 3-2 or 4-2 themselves. So I think we deserve credit for that, and we need to see more of that fight and grinding out results, even when you're not playing fantastically. So more of a positive result than the previous game for me, and I'm just glad we got the 3 points. As I said, tough fixture, and it's one that we can chalk off now. So credit where credit is due for Ranić and a couple of the players, or a few of the players in the team. And it was a great result. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll be back soon.